Who's Bitcoin's assistant?
I think that's a plugin that'll take notes like through AI.
Wow, okay, cool. We have a few plugins now.
The world's getting fancier fast. That's how I'd put it.
Yeah, I just love it. Love the name. We'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. I don't know if you guys check the price. Not that it's important, but Bitcoin gone up to 31,000. Right, let me screen share and we'll get started. Okay, thanks everybody for coming to SIPCO number 49. Today will just be an open discussion. And maybe next week we'll try and get something up, a focused topic. I know we have steering committee call, but hopefully we can make a productive call for next Friday as well. Yeah, today is 23rd of June, and this is the SIPCO. And just for those who are attending the first time, SIPCO is where we can collaborate on stacks improvement proposal ideas. And these are, consensus changes or non-consensus changes or governance related topics are all relevant to this call. And here you can find, I'll give you an overall picture of what's going on, of all the SIP ideas and status. And here you can advocate for your ideas and you can ask feedback from others live. So it's a really great space for collaborations and helping each other out. So every week I give a sort of top level what's going on. We have the SIP 19 being ratified and SIP 22 to 24 being finalized too, but just on paper we need to get them to ratify stage. But the two main topic right now in the SIP world, plus I think a few more that Munib mentioned. But we have the Bitcoin MBV, the orphan blocks. Obviously, we still got the overarching sort of Nakamoto upgrade SBTC effort going on. But yeah, we do have quite a few important SIPs or upgrades in the pipeline. So just to sort of let everybody know where it is, you can find all the ideas on Stacks forum, and you can also go to the GitHub to find more information. And the SIP idea basically goes from draft to being reviewed to be recommended. And then if a public voting is needed for any consensus changes, they will be voted on, like Stacks Super One upgrade on the website with your SPX token. So just to sort of shine some lights into these two topics of Bitcoin MEV and orphan blocks. Bitcoin MEV has probably bigger impact on yields. Orphan blocks appears to be diminishing now. I heard Munib's podcast on that. But just to sort of summarize what's going on, there are two proposals on the table, two proposals being dropped from the core devs. And I've tried to facilitate any additional feedback, but more targeted feedback. Haven't heard much back, so maybe this is not the best method. I don't know, but yeah, we gave it a go. But yeah, we just need more thoughts around this topic, and very like very we have very good community members stepping up to proposing even new other ideas. So it's pretty amazing to see that somebody's from the community outside of core is able to put together a well thought ideas on the table. So I just really like to encourage everybody to go and take a look on Stacks forum, a proposal from Junko, which may trigger other conversation and other ideas, and is how hopefully we will come to a more well thought out, rounded idea eventually. So hopefully everybody can go and take a look. Aaron also wrote something on the Stacks forum. But yeah, if Aaron, if you're here, would you like to briefly tell everybody what this idea is about?
Yeah, sure. I dropped a link to this in the chat as a self promotion, I suppose. But yeah, so this proposal is sort of in the vein of a few other consensus change proposals, looking at the way that stacks mining occurs and trying to figure out alternatives to what we currently do that maybe improve the situation regarding, say, orphaning behavior, and also the sort of like Bitcoin miner and MEV behavior. So this proposal strives to achieve those things without altering some of the fundamental properties of the way Stacks mining works. So one of the big things that this proposal tries to maintain is the ability for Stacks miners to mine by really only spending Bitcoin without needing to involve stackers approving their blocks or anything like that. And the general idea is that Stacks mining would occur in something like 10 block terms, where for each term, miners elect a coalition. This coalition then does something akin to BFT consensus for the length of the term, where they collaborate to produce blocks. So rather than today's system where every single block has competition between miners, so miners are sort of continuously racing each other and also trying to outspend one another to produce blocks, this scheme would have all of the competition occur during the term elections or group selection. And then once the group selection has occurred, then you switch to sort of a collaborative mode. In the proposal, I talk more about some of the benefits of doing this, and any benefits of doing this would probably require some deeper analysis. But I think that these changes would eliminate a lot of the incentives that orphaning and Bitcoin MEV behavior could be caused by, but it would also improve throughput and latency in the network as well, because throughput would go up because you're collaborating rather than competing, which reduces the need for races. And these races actually, they impose sort of a block limit so that miners aren't incentivized to like try to crowd out other miners by producing big blocks, things like that. But yeah, that's like my high level spiel. I think at some point it might make sense for me to do more of a formal talk on this proposal if people start to like this proposal. If people read this proposal and hate it, then maybe not. Maybe it needs to be abandoned. But anyways, I would say yeah, people should take a look. Igor just asked, what are the chances of your proposal shipping by end of year? Team of 4 blockchain engineers full-time on this. I don't know. I'm pretty bad at making predictions. So I don't know. I do think that in terms of implementation, this is certainly something that probably could be implemented this year, but all of that would be predicated on getting buy-in and things like that.
Yeah, and just to clarify, there are different proposals to the ones currently already on the table, right? The two,
Yes.
proposal 1, the proposal 4. So yeah, so looks like this is the 3rd one, and then we have the 4th one from Junko. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. So how can we, like, what's the best way to sort of help you develop this idea? Is it to just get as much feedback as possible on Stacks Forum?
Yeah, I think at this stage that would be the best thing, is just more eyes on this proposal. People should ask questions.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I don't know if DNG's got any comment. I know he's pretty deep into this kind of this topic. DNG?
Yeah, no comment. I just started reading through the proposal. Looks really interesting. Thanks, Aaron. But yeah, no comment yet.
I was wondering whether I think Mini mentioned like almost like different solution, almost like different point on the spectrum. Is there a way to plot out these for the average person to understand, so that which point of the spectrum is it? Like, is it left, right, center? Like how dramatic of a change it is, or how much resource each one needs? I don't know if that helps at this stage, or maybe later stage when we have shorter list of selections.
It might be a little bit early for that, and I'm probably the wrong person to answer that question, because I think it's hard to boil a lot of these things down to spectrums, because yeah, there's not always a dimensionality when thinking about these proposals. So
yeah, Igor commented that engineer feedback, can we get them onto GitHub? I guess traditionally it's been on forum, and like many people don't have GitHub too. I understand people who with deeper knowledge will have GitHub, but I don't have the right answer for you, Igor.
I think that I don't know. It's something like this. It's probably hard to say. I think that GitHub discussions have been successful for things that are like close to something like a bundle of GitHub issues, which these proposals aren't really. So yeah, I think that it's, you know, an argument could be made for it ending up in either place, but since it's already on the forum and there's already activity there, I would be in favor of not changing anything there.
I propose we run an experiment and see which platform gets us the most feedback, because I think that.
Please no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
yeah,
because some of these ideas are still fairly early, and you don't have to be an engineer, from my understanding, to offer feedback. And some of the community members that I've seen are able to contribute this way to the conversation, like with actual real material substance without GitHub. So maybe we can try a later stage, but maybe for the moment, keep it on forum. It's easier to direct people there.
yeah, I agree, and I guess like the reason I just don't want to overemphasize this discussion too much is because like I think to the extent that people are using cognitive energy on these proposals, they should be actually thinking about the proposals rather than where they are. So
Yeah. Okay, let's move on briefly. We got safer blocks in Munib's Bitcoin Summer. I wonder whether anybody can sort of explain whether this is like, are we taking a different route to solve the Bitcoin MEV? I know this might be the focus this summer. Are we proposing, like, what can somebody give us an idea what's going on?
Yeah, I can jump in there. So I think that we basically have this better block kind of work stream that includes safer blocks and faster blocks. There's probably a lot of overlap between the two categories, but in this case, when we're talking about safer blocks, we're talking about those two specific problems mentioned there, the Bitcoin MEV and orphan blocks. And then also just the other changes that were discussed in the Nakamoto paper about making the blocks more reliable and get more of the finality of the Bitcoin chain. I think the biggest challenge that I see right now is not so much in implementing any of the solutions, but in deciding what is the right solution, and in deciding I guess choosing the right solution within the right time frame. So I think there might be some options that are out there that could be done faster, but maybe aren't a full solution to all the problems, and some that are seem like full solutions right now, but they might take a long time to implement. So there's a lot of questions around exactly what safer blocks means still. And so I think that's our first task, is defining what that means exactly and which direction to go, keeping in mind all of the different directions that it would need to be pulled for speed and safety and all of that, timelines.
I understand actually NUS3R got some comments about the yield. Do you want to unmute and share your thoughts? Nas? Oh, never mind. So I don't know how do I facilitate you guys to move things forward, or is any ideas how we can serve you, or what are the next steps in deciding? Maybe Will knows more about the top level.
So from my point of view, I think just continuing for people to give feedback on these different forum posts, I think is one good starting point. And then eventually, if we can start to get some consensus there, then we can focus in on one or two of those, and eventually it will become a SIP that requires a community vote and everything. But I don't think we're quite there yet.
Okay, so it sounds like the safer or better blocks still requires some discussion before a dedicated forum post can be shared in public to be commented. Is that right?
Well, no, I think it's those forum posts that are already out there about these different solutions. So like the one Aaron was just talking about, Jonko's,
Oh, right, okay.
Jude has
Cool.
one. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Okay. This is not a separate additional proposal. This safer blocks topic actually is talking about every other proposal out there.
That's my understanding.
Okay, cool. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I will then leave the floor up to any comments and discussion.
Is it realistic to like time box the feedback on these to kind of force the issue? You know, we could definitely direct Hero, and we could get Rick to promote these things on the social channels, and really just put as much attention and intentionality behind reading and commenting on these as possible. Is there like a period of time that we feel would be prudent to keep them open so that we could really drive some urgency around it?
My feelings on timelines are that they're kind of extrinsic rather than intrinsic. So if there's, if somebody feels like there's an extrinsic timeline that any such solution would need to meet, then you could kind of like back solve for a timeline. I think, like, speaking personally, there's like a bunch of people that I feel like would be important to get feedback from, who have various timelines of their own, probably. So like, I think for any proposal, like getting buy-in from people like Jude especially would be important. And yeah, I would be wary of a timeline that would make that difficult. So.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, and I know he'll be back following Monday. We can add that to all hands for the for just after his return to make sure it's on his radar.
Cool.
NAS3, do you have any comment? Or maybe I can let other people know what you want to say. Okay, so basically NAS3 commented like the current API is pretty low, between 2 to 3%. That's based on his calculation. The only possibility I can think of is because the Bitcoin MEV is currently still happening. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if anybody knows, but I guess I just want to sort of highlight a comment from the community, like people are experiencing lower yield. He has double checked with his actual rewards to get to that number, rough number. Yeah. But yeah, just want to bring a comment from the community up. That's all. So do you think it's, Aaron or Bryce, do you guys think it's, I was talking about arranging like a call with community members plus all the people who proposed. Is it too early to do that maybe next Friday? Or do you think that will help you guys even? But I can coordinate some of the sort of leading thinkers and leading proposers and put you guys in the same room on the SIP call. What do you guys think?
I think it would probably be helpful for folks at some point to at least give like something like a short summary of the various proposals at one of these SIP calls. I know I personally can't make next Friday's SIP call, so maybe next week wouldn't work, but probably the week after that. So I don't know,
Okay.
but we could probably try to schedule offline, like through Discord or whatever.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, maybe everybody can pitch their idea and then see if you want to have any discussion afterwards. Might help the whole community to understand what's currently on the table. Great. Any other comments, guys? Feel free to unmute.
I'll just second that. I think that would definitely be helpful if we could get like the 5-minute pitch for each of the proposals, followed by a discussion amongst people that are like forced to have just listened to those proposals. I think that would be really helpful.
May I suggest that those pitches be made perhaps in a short video so that when then we have a meeting, we can focus on the feedback and people can listen and to those async.
Yeah, that can be done. I think Rick can help break those videos into their own proposals. Less than 5 minutes. So yeah, happy to do that. Cool. All right. If nothing else, I'll end the meeting early. Last chance, last call, anybody? Okay, great. Right, thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Hero.
Thank you. Bye.